Welcome to the Fish Files. Before I even begin, let's talk about the steps to make sure you have a successful beginner tank. The first one is what tank you're going to get. I'm looking in the range of 5 gallons to 20 gallons. For the cases of this demonstration, I picked a 10-gallon tank right in the middle. This one's manufactured by JBJ. Let's put this one together. Out of the styrofoam. It's heavy. That's a good sign. It's a glass aquarium. Glass is heavier than acrylic, but it's also easier to clean. First, just want to take everything apart so we can put it back together. Fish tanks all have little transformers that take the voltage down. Very safe hobby. We'll give a stand. I happen to know that's what it was for, but in case you didn't, it's in the instructions. But this keeps the fish tank off of the table if you want to put it on something that you value. Now this one's shipped in all inclusive. You go to your independent pet store, they'll put it together for you and give you instructions along the way. But you're kind of on your own when you do these, putting them in a box. Filter has a little pump inside, a little styrofoam where it filters out the water and allows you to get back into talking about bacteria and so forth. But for the cases of demonstration, you don't go too much into the biochemistry of a healthy aquarium. It all happens right here in the filter. This one is it's called a rimless aquarium. However, if you have hatchet fish or pike cichlids or other jumpers, you're going to want to put a cover on. So it does come with a cover. That's what the light looks like. LED lighting, the latest thing that's been around for 20 years, but it keeps evolving in the aquarium hobby. Oh, let's show you. Let's say we have hatchet fish or other little jumpers. Oh, ooh, tight fit. That worried me for a sec, but it did fit. I don't want to turn on the filter and burn out the pump until I actually have water in and not burn out the pump. This is the setup that you need for fish that I had in an older video. We went through good beginner fish that can tolerate a good range of temperatures, because I'm assuming that this stuff is going to be in your living room, bedroom, or somewhere, and you're going to keep it around 70 degrees. Just don't let the temperature fall to the low 60s. Tropical fish just don't tolerate that. On to step 2, the living components of this fish tank. The first component, now that we have everything in, is the gravel. It's crushed lava rock. It has a lot of minerals and it's very dark, so little bright fish on the bottom really pop. You can plant plants right in it. You don't need any special soils or fertilizers in the gravel. Pea gravel is not so conducive to plant growth. You're a little more limited to what plants can thrive in your tank. This stuff, though, and again, you want about 2 inches. I do have links to everything I'm showing here, the gravel and the fish tank. But now we need to add the water. I've taken tap water, which is about 7.5 pH, a little on the hard side, soft hard water. The fish I chose, they will care if the pH, if you live in an area with heavy limestone, Tennessee, those kind of areas, the pH can be way up there over 8. Then you're going to have to use a little pH adjuster, which you can find any store, and lower the pH down. You can put tap water right in here from your sink, but you just have to put a couple drops of dechlorinator. There's a gazillion brands available for dechlorinating your fish tank water. You need to keep that on hand because you will need to do water changes down the road. And you'll see that the water just is disturbing this finer particles in the soil. If anything floats, for instance, this filter system, just fill it with water and hang it to the side. It's also called priming. Leave this thing alone for 2 days after I add the chlorinator and turn it on. For dechlorinating this tank, I'm going to use a little Weco Dechlor. These guys are the oldest guys in the business and they haven't changed their packaging in 58 years, but it works. So you just add, I know how much to put in, but it'll say how many drops. This is a 10-gallon tank, so it's 10 drops. I just put a squirt in. I think I just put like 1 million drops. It's harmless to the fish though. Turn this on, it'll swirl around. So you can see it flowing. Ooh, good pump. After sitting for 2 days, you can start introducing hardy fish. It takes up to a couple weeks for some sensitive fish. And 2 days later, we are at stage 2, the most enjoyable part, adding all the live fish and plants to the aquarium. And I have one little rock I thought was very pretty. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the aquarium too. You can buy some beautiful rocks. This happens to be from a local pet store. It's called Dragon Rock. But any rock you find in your garden is just fine. Just make sure it's thoroughly rinsed before you add it to the aquarium. These guys are zebra danios. a little far away from the camera to see. But I floated this for 30 minutes. When you receive these from the store, make sure you float them for 30 minutes. And so they've evolved in the wild to not handle temperatures of more than a few degrees one way or the other. So that's why we have to float it for 30 minutes until the water on the inside of the bag is the same as the outside. So it is. We're going to go ahead and release them. Now, I've selected hardy fish for this demonstration and this aquarium we're going to be setting up. And these are the kind of fish I recommend for your first aquarium. And if you're curious about beginner fish, we have a video we selected 10 or 11 really easy to keep fish. They also get along together. I'm just gonna go ahead and add the rock before I start adding plants. And let's just, you can go anywhere. I'm gonna put it towards the back. And these are hardy plants. These are plants that aren't gonna require CO2. They're not gonna require a lot of fertilizer. This soil I selected because these plants should root just fine in here. Again, that's that lava rock soil that's new on the market. Again, I have a previous episode about hardy plants. Many plants in the pet stores can give you just little weights. They're basically little lead weights, supposed to be poisonous blood and all that stuff, but this is malleable lead alloy that's perfectly safe for the plants in the fish water, and they're in. So now we're gonna go ahead and add fish. Now, this is as many fish as you want to put in this tank. Don't add any more. This is 10 gallons. I might have maybe 13 inches, 14 inches of fish. So I might have a couple fish more than I normally would put in a tank that I just want to keep low maintenance. I recommend no more than 10 small fish in something this size and maybe a Cory Julii or a crazy yo-yo loach.